Ama-beach wethu singakwazi ukwasebenzisa wonke. Kodwa iqiniso elimsulwa nanti lapho engizolibeka khona. The beaches that are already open in eThekwini municipality, Point Beach, Ushaka Beach, Eddington Beach, South Beach, West Beach, Battery Beach, Country Club, Brighton Beach, Reunion, Toti Beach, Winer Beach, Umgababa Beach, all lama beach ayasebenza njengoba sikhuluma. Ama-swimming pool aseThekwini ayasebenza njengoba sikhuluma nje. Yebo, uMhlanga Beach awukakavulwa ngenxa yokuthi kusaqedelwa ukusetshenzwa kohlange water pipeline okuyiyona eyenza umonakalo omkhulu kulola lwandle lwaseMhlanga. I also want to say, honorable members, I do not know whether the honorable member was seeing the flies or ubekabona intuthwane noma bebona impukwane ngoba lapha eOgwini bonke abantu ababe kuma mass care centers abasekho abantu abakuma mass care centers as we talk. I also want to say, Honorable President, that this government that you are leading has worked very hard. The provincial executive approved the digital transformation. Lapho esifuna ukuthi umntwana wakithi omnyama akwazi ukukhompyutha nomntwana welinye ibala ngenxa yokwazi ukusebenzisa i-technology. Njengamanje, we are forging ahead in a smart province, which is alive, looking at the fourth industrial revolution. We want our young people, when they leave school, they are better, and they can even open their own businesses, and they can also be able to play within the technological space in the world. The Lamesi Mathematics School, Science and Technology Academy has been completed and it's fully functional. At least 16 special schools have been provided with information communication technology in our province to promote e-learning. More than 500 laptops were provided to school principals, and 26 schools are already implementing the pilot in robotics, in coding, and other technological skills. Our province is implementing national digital skills. Njengamanje sizobe sinenkomfa ezoba ngesonto elizayo lapho esizobe siqhubeka khona nomkhankaso okwenza isiqiniseko sokuthi isifundazwe saKwaZulu Natal siyangena kwi-fourth industrial revolution. Abantu bethu abasha nabantwana abancane, ngikhuluma nawe President nje, sebeyakwazi abanye ukuhlanganisa imoto ikwazi bayibone ihamba, sebeyakwazi abanye ukudrive ama-drones. Siyakwazi ukuthi njengamanje kube nabantwana aba-involved in robotics and technology. Ngenyanga edlule President, besimukela abantwana abangaphezu kuka-50 abaqale laphaya kwi-aviation school, where bazobe befundela khona i-private licenses as well as commercial licenses. Abanye bazobe befundela kuba ma-crew, abanye befundela ukukhanda amabhanoyi. Ngikhuluma nani nje, about 2 kulama students baflya already with i-airline ebizwa ngokuthi i-Fly South Air, bayadrive, bayasebenza. Oyedwa usebenza nale nkampani entsha yamabhanoyi esanda ukuvulwa, okukhombisa ngokusobala umsebenzi walo hulumeni oholwa ngokhongolose. Honorable members, siyafisa ukusho la ukuthi ngesikhathi sihlaselwa zikhukhula ziningi kakhulu izibhedlela ezingakwazanga ukuthi zisebenze, ezinye ezanqamukelwa amanzi. Sikhuluma nale ngqungquthela noma nale nhlanganiso ehloniphekile, zonke izibhedlela ezazingenawo amanzi njengamanje sezinawo amanzi. Sikhuluma la ngezibhedlela ezinjengoPrince Mshiyeni, Pixilka Isaka Seme, sikhuluma ngeMahatma Gandhi kanye nezinenanda okuyezinye zezibhedlela ezazikhahlamezekile njengamanje.
As you conclude.
Sorry.
As you conclude.
Oh, okay. Honorable members, I do want to just conclude by saying, izindlu zabantu bakithi laba abakhahlamezwa zikhukhula njengamanje uhlelo lakhona selihambe kakhulu. Out of 1,810 ama-temporary residential esawakha awu-1,511 asebewasebenzisa abantu bakithi, awu-81 alindele ukuthi afakelwe amanzi nogesi. Siyafisa ukusho la ukuthi emva kunabantu abawu-135 ababehlala kuma-mass care centers emahholo nakwezinye indawo, amahholo awu-71 sesiwavalile, lawa awu-64 asesele nawo sinohlelo lokuthi bonke abantu abasemahholo bazokwazi ukungena emafletini ngaphambi kokuba ube middle of December. Nakhona ngabe sesiqedile, inkinga ukuthi kuye kwafanele ukuthi sihambe with the tender process, and the tender process kwaba khona aba-objectayo sase siyadisturbeka ohlelweni lokwazi ukuthi abantu bakithi bangene ey'ndlini ey'hloniphekile. But Chairperson, I also want to say inkinga yamanzi inkulu lapha Ogwini, and asikwazi ukuthi sibukele phansi. Inkinga yobugebengu inkulu lapha Ogwini, ingakho sithe asigxilise inhlaka zomphakathi ezinjengama-community police forums, ngoba amaphoyisa nawo ayadinga ukulekelela umphakathi ukuthi azi ukuthi ubani ofuye isigebengu emzini wakhe, ukuthi azi ukuthi ubani obeke isigebengu emva kwendlu yakhe. Uma ngabe singasebenza kanjalo singakwazi ukuthi siqede ubugebengu uma singasebenza ngokubambisana. Chairperson, I also want to say that today, as we are sitting in this hall, honorable member uthi uhulumeni ka-ANC awenza ngalutho. Bengizothi honorable member angazi noma uhleli ehholo eliyimpukane yini, ngoba kule hholo ahleli kulona yilona elakhiwe ukhongolose. Umhlonishwa uthi uhulumeni kakhongolose awenza ngalutho, kodwa umhlanishwa eza la uhambe emgaqweni, wahamba kuma-traffic lights, walala ehhotela, wageza ekuseni, waba nogesi,
Sibonge, Prima.
ukhongolose uyasebenza.
Thanks, Honorable Prima. Honorable members, Siyakuba. I would like now to recognize as Sikwati Limpopo MEC Provisional Treasurer.
Ngiyabonga. Ngiyabonga Sihlalo, Deputy Chairperson of the NCOP, Chief Whip of the NCOP, His Excellency Honorable President Matamela Ramaphosa, our host Premier of the beautiful province of KwaZulu-Natal, our premiers, ministers and deputy ministers, MECs present, members of the NCOP and colleagues from different provinces, the executive mayor of Ugu East District, and all leaders from local government present. Nami ngiyabonga ukuthi ngiphiwe lesikhathi ukuthi ngizobanani lana Ugu District, nami ngizokwazi ukuthi ngimele Premier wase Limpopo Ntate Chupu Stanley Mathabata in this important meeting of the National Council of Provinces. This week-long visit to this Ugu District in the province of KwaZulu-Natal should indeed breathe life to the theme of working together to ensure faster improvement in delivery of services to our communities. Taking Parliament to the people should not just be a slogan as we wrap up this leg of our visit to provinces, and we should live with a better understanding of service delivery progress and challenges in our areas. Colleagues, over the years, we have seen the NCOP oversight visits impacting significantly and positively to the work of government in provinces. Through recommendations of NCOP, as Limpopo, we are able to unlock several service delivery bottlenecks, resulting in improved provision of services. There's no doubt that the challenges in this area were also compounded by the reality of COVID-19 pandemic that our country is emerging from. The COVID-19 pandemic has ravaged our national and local economies, and we had a choice between saving lives and saving livelihoods, which was always having to require a delicate balance. We appreciate the wisdom and judicious leadership of President Matamela Ramaphosa for safely navigating our country from the ravaging quagmire of COVID-19. Although we have almost won the war against COVID-19, its devastating aftermath remain invisible and very much stubborn. We are now having to deal with the reality of increased levels of unemployment, and many of our people have been relegated to the periphery of economic activity and participation. The levels of poverty are at an all-time high, as if these challenges are not heavier enough. In addition, our people are now having to deal with acute shortage of water. Access to water has become a luxury to many households, particularly in our rural households. The progress we have made with regard to the fight against COVID-19 pandemic presents an opportunity for the implementation of our adopted socio-economic recovery plan. We cannot emphasize the urgent need to fasten the implementation of socio-economic recovery and reconstruction program. The focus of this recovery and reconstruction plan should be infrastructure delivery program, local economic development, and targeted focus on provision of quality of basic services such as water, sanitation, and housing. Chairperson, the challenges that we face require integrated planning, sound project management, including proper monitoring and evaluation controls. This integrated planning must happen at all times, at all three spheres of government, which is national, provincial, and local level of government. The district development model approach is also the best prescription at our disposal. As Limpopo, we have made significant progress with regard to the assignment of institutionalization of the district development model. As I speak, all of our 5 districts have established their district development model structures. And all our districts have adopted the District 1 plan, which has happened with the involvement of the provincial and national departments. All approved District 1 plans have indicated a regression on water provision as a major challenge confronting implementation of socio-economic recovery program in our province. Our recent NCOP budget directed the Office of the Premier, the Water Department, the Water and Sanitation Department, and municipalities to prioritize water infrastructure and delivery as the main priority. The success of the district development model requires, amongst others, building ethical, capable development state, and we therefore welcome a cabinet decision on the adoption of professionalization of public service framework. Strengthening local government as a key pillar for building developmental state, and a resolute implementation of anti-corruption program across all spheres of government. The strengthening of social partnership between local government, private sector, and civil society, and the institution of traditional leadership. Once again, on behalf of Limpopo, we wish to express our appreciation and support for this great work of the NCOP. Ngifisa ukubingelela uPresident wethu ilanga elihle lokuzalwa kube izolo. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Ngiyabonga, ngiyalebonga.
Thanks very much, Honorable Member. I would like to recognize Honorable N. Khatebe, Inkatha Freedom Party. Bongani.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chairperson. Ngifisa ukuthi mangiqala egameni leNkatha Freedom Party, ngikhuleke kuyisilo samabandla wonke. Ilanga eliphahlwa amalanga amabili elakwaZulu nelakwangwane. Incwadi ebhalwe uBhejana phuma esiqiweni akaza ayisayina ngoba isayinwe ngamashobe enkomo zakithi kwaZulu. Kanye nondunankulu wakhe, undunankulu wesizwe sakwaZulu. Inkosi ehlasela ngedlozi elihlatshelwayo elingagoli intethe. Uyikhangela indoda yaze yathi siqhashe ngangisayi ukuyomasha kwala kwaZulu. Sengiyomasha kwelo babamkhulu. Lapho isikhali sendabuko esingawungena khona. Ngabe ngikubiza ngegama ngisalinde uphenyo luka Goldstone. Hlonishwa mongameli. Uhulumeni uhlulekile ukunikeza abantu besifunda ugwamanzi. Akukho manzi. Kodwa ile misebenze eyenziwe ingaqedwe endaweni yaseweza kumasipala umzwa abantu kwakhiwe ireservoir kwafakwa amapayipi amanzi kodwa amanzi awaphumi. Lesi simo esifanayo nasendaweni yasezingolweni ezinqoleni nakhona kwakhiwe ireservoir kodwa nakhona amanzi awabona nangalikhala. Umphakathi ukhulumile ngolwesibili ukuthi ikhansela labanika incazelo ethi amanzi awaphumi awakwazi ukwenyuka intaba. Umthethosisekelo wezwe akukho lapho uthi khona uma umuntu akhe entabeni fanele angawathola amanzi. Ichilo lelo. Simzwile ungqongqoshe wezamanzi umhlonishwa uSenzo Mchunu ethi bazofaka imali engengaphansi kuka150 million ukuzama ukuxazulula inkinga yamanzi kulesi sifunda saseOgwini. Umbuzo uthi bekumele ukuthi abantu baze bahlukumezeke ngaphambi kokuthi bahlinzekwe ngamanzi. Kodwa ke siyobona sekwenzeka ukuthi leso sithembiso siyogcina sifezekile yini. Lo hulumeni udumile ngemisebenzi eyenziwe ishiwe ingaphelile. Lokho kufakazelwa okwenzeke eMzumbe lapho obekufanele kwakhelwe khona abantu izindlu endaweni yakwaDweshule enkosini uCele. Inkosi uHadebe enkwazi enhlangwini nasentlalwane eziningi izindlu kwagcina ngokwakhiwa kwezilebhu kwashiwa kanjalo. Lapho Ogwini kunezingane ezihamba amabanga amade uma ziya noma zibuye ezikoleni ngenxa yokungabikho kwezinto zokuthutha. Kuyilungelo labafundi ukuthi bahlinzekwe ngezinto zokuthutha. Inkatha ithi abafundi balapho Ogwini abahlinzekwe ngamabhasi azobathutha uma beya ezikoleni. Imigwaqo nayo kulesi sifunda inalo idumela lokungaqedwa. Kushiwe kanjalo kungaphelile. Udadewethu uZimdola owumsakazi okhosini kuseze waba nezibongo. Izibongo zakhe uthi uhafu itiyela likaManzankosi eBuchanan. Lokhu kugcizelela lo mkhuba wezinto zikahulumeni ezisala zingaphelile iminyaka ngeminyaka. Mhlonishwa mongameli, sewuphelile umphakathi ilogqamcishi kagesi ofika ngokuvakasha njengoba uhlala ePitoli. Uma kwenzeka ubuya ufika nalomfutho olimaza impahla yabantu. Kwezinye izindawo lo gesi unobandlululo olunobuqili. Edolobheni uhamba kancane ubuye. Emakhaya isabelweni uhamba umlibo ubuye kancane. Ucisha kukagesi kanye nokunqamuka kwamanzi sekuholele ekutheni amabhizinisi amancane avalwe. Amabloho njalo makunezikhukhula yamuka ngalungiswa. Abamatekisi abasakwazi ukuthi kumele bahambe kuphi uma kufanele bathuthe umphakathi ngenxa yamabloho angalungisiwe amanye abhidlikile. Amabloho aseMzumbe, uKokoloshe, Mhoboshane, eMvuzane, eBhobhoyi, kwaMgwabe namanye awalungisiwe. Umgwaqo wathenjiswa itiyela kudala ukusuka eDududu uya eMkhunya kumasipala waseMdoni namanje kusabanjwe uDonga. Kusuka eFairview kuya eAssis namanje kusabanjwe uDonga. Kusuka eLuziana kuya kwaMadlala namanje kusabanjwe uDonga. Bayaphela abantu ubugebengu mongameli ngenxa yezinswelaboya ezikhathazayo lapha Ogwini. Ogogo omkhulu odadewethu.
As you conclude.
Okay. njengoba kuzukhisimusi emhlonishwa sihlalo kuzophelo abafuyi bazophela inkomo zabo zigawulwa ngehonela amasela okushaqisayo ukuthi amaphoyisa ayazi mhlonishwa mongameli amahhovisi kahulumeni asebenza ngendlela engabacabangela abantu okokuqala kwasasa nakwawo mafezi kuyagcwala kulalwa khona kubanjwe olayini okwesibili abagulayo badlule esayidi bayisothuthwini nokuyibanga elide kubeni kugitshelwa ngemali uma sebefikile kubuye kuthiwe abaphinde emuva amakhompyutha wasebenzi inetwork ayikho yini lena mongameli kuphi ucabangela abantu makunje umyalezo wenkatha namhlanje uthi abaphume abahlulekile ijadu liphelile izitsha abuyele ekhaya akungena bazosebenza ngokwethembeka ngokungenzi isethembiso esingafezwa ngiyathokoza.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We'll now proceed to Honorable Shongwe.
Ngithathe lethuba ngibingelele umongameli wase Republic of South Africa ngibingelele usihlalo we-NCOP kanye namalunga e-NCOP abo premier abakhona nabamele izifundazwe zonke ezikhona ngaphakathi kwethu kungaba o-executive mayor kube ngamakhansela ngibingelele futhi wonke okhona la ngaphakathi kwethu ngithi all protocol observed. There can be no better avenue to listen and comprehend the needs of people of South Africa than through such a program we have embarked on this week, which is called Taking Parliament to the People. On behalf of the Premier of Mpumalanga, Umama, Honorable Refilwe Mthweni Tsipane, and the people of the Rising Sun, we are greatly honored to be part of this important program and debate. Ngicela ukusho ukuthi mongameli kanye nosesihlalweni ukuthi zonke izinto esizikhuluma la namhlanje akusiyo about us esingama representatives lapha size ukuzokhuluma nabantu bogu nabantu base KZN silalele bona ukuthi bathini other than ukuthi kulalelwe thina ukuthi sithini size la ukuzotshela abantu bogu nabantu base KZN nase South Africa ukuthi ezimpumalanga sesibenzele ini ukusukela ngesikhathi sedemocracy ukuze sibe manje okubalulekile kufanele sikwazi ukuthi ukuze wazi ukuthi uyapi kufanele wazi ukuthi ubuyaphi le South Africa sikhuluma ngayo ephethwe ngumongameli namhlanje iSouth Africa ngaphansi kwedemocracy eneminyaka engamashumi amabili nesiphohlongo umbuso obephambili obophethe uphethe for over 300 years abantu bakithi njengoba sikhuluma namhlanje bahlupheka nje badonsana nje kungenxa ye contribution ye apartheid government. Some of the parties akhona la namhlanje they were part of that, and today they are pointing fingers to the government of the democracy. They've never ever set their foot in this area. By then uhulumende wa by then wawaziwa ukuthi usePitori. Kubalulekile ke ukuthi sazi ukuthi le system esilungisa i-backlog yayo. Uma ukhulunywa nge-sewer system, i-sewer system la eSouth Africa yayenzelwe ingosana yabantu abamhlophe kuphela. Umuntu omnyama bekangabalwanga lapho. Ugesi lesikhuluma ngawo esibhizi ngawo manje as this government wawenzelwe ingosana yabamhlophe kuphela. Mina kahle ukuthi sasibasa isibane soparafini. Mina nawe sazi kahle ukuthi sasipheka ngeprama stove. Mina nawe namhlanje ngempucuko esesikiyo sesiyakwazi ukuthola iplatform le eyakhiwa ngabantu abasilwela ukuthi sithole lenkululeko. Besingeke mina nawe sizo arguisha la ngesikhathi se-apartheid ifanketang ngabe imile la ngaphandle infaka khona nonke ngobuningi benu. Nikhumbule kahle ukuthi la sibuya khona sasiphila ngaphansi komthetho we-Section 10 we-Group Areas Act lo obulewe yithi namhlanje. Kwabakhona izingane ezazibizwa ngaboMahlathini nabondleleni ngoba sasitshontshana emahlathini nasendleleni ngoba uma baze bakuthola uyolala ekhaya yakho ngaphandle kwepermit ungena ejele uhamba uyodonsa. Namhlanje sine platform yokuthi sikhulume sibeke inkinga zethu lezi esifuna ukuthi zenzeke. Lo government of the day asilalele simcriticize futhi angalwi nathi. I-criticism in the past government wawungena ejele. Kubalulekile ke ukuthi uma sikhuluma mina nawe sazi ukuthi sibuya kuphi ukuze kwasazi ukuthi siyaphi. Ngifuna ukusho ukuthi eMpumalanga kuningi esekwenzekile ngaphansi kombuso we-African National Congress. Abantu sebathola amanzi aclean manje ebebangawatholi before ebebawashera kanye nezilwane egojeni. Abantu bakithi namhlanje sebakwazi ukupress ibutton kukhanya ugesi abantu abethu bafunde ebusuku. Ngaphandle nje kokuthi siyayesihlushwe ke yi-load shedding mongameli. Ekungiyona ke esiphatha kabi esifisa ukuthi ingathi ngaphela. Abomama nabobaba namhlanje sebayakwazi ukuma on the same platform ba-arguishe ma-issues on 50-50 basis. It is because of this democracy. Ngilalele ku-public hearing izolo bengikhona la abantu boku baphakamisa izikhalo zabo ngezoma responses abo executive mayor mongameli. I was very much impressed. A connection between bona nabantu abahlala kibo. Abantu bakithi abafuni ukuthi uzobatshela ama-successes kuphela. Bayafuna nokuthi ubatshele ama-challenges nokuthi ukuthi kuzokwenzeka kulonyaka ukuthi ngeke kwenzeke kulonyaka can only happen in the few financial years. It's very much important ukuthi when we stand here sipolitike ngenhlonipho. Abantu laba bahleli lapha ngemuva abeze bazolalela thine njengabo MEC njengamalungu eshaya umthetho ba expecte ukuthi si lead by example. Uma babona mina njengoShongwe ngiyisikhwangkhwang bayabona ukuthi there's no future there. We are not represented there. It's very much important that we are mindful of our people and the intelligence of our people. Our people can take decisions. They don't take decisions based on what you are influencing them on. They can see, they can decide. They are old enough to do that.
As we conclude, the Honorable Emerson.
Sangvala osesihlalweni ngifuna ukuthi unwele olude mongameli. Khula ukhule ngenhlonipho nokuzithoba. Uma amanzi ekuthela ufane nedada uma lisemanzini uphume uyithintithe uhambe uyosebenzela lesizwe esilaphambi kwakho. Ngifuna futhi nokubingelela usihlalo we-African National Congress empuma eKwaZulu Natal ne-executive yakhe engibabonile bala ngithi phambili ma-comrade.
Thank you very much. We will now proceed to Honorable De Bruin. Is he there?
Thank you, Honorable Vice Chair. Can you hear me?
Virtual, yeah. Virtual, Honorable De Bruin, who's over the screen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Am I audible? Am I audible, Chair?
Honorable De Bruin.
Am I audible, Chair? Can you hear me?
In that case, we'll move on to. We'll move
Am I
on
audible, Chair?
to Honorable Stoffile, Councillor Stoffile.
On a point of order, Chair.
Mr. President.
Am I audible, Chair?
On a point of order, Chair.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Patin Kobo, Staloe National Council of Provinces, Deputy Chair, the Chief Whip, the President General, and members of the House, fellow councillors, Obazakwetu, who made it possible that this House could be convened and have a deliberation about conditions and challenges that we face in the local government space. It is my honor on behalf of the collective leadership of the organized local government and the sphere on local government to contribute towards the debate on this week program of taking parliament to the people in this beautiful province of KwaZulu-Natal that have produced many icons and leaders to lead at the time in which the country was facing difficulties. Chair, the Constitution of the Republic entrenches local government as a fully fledged sphere of government in a system of cooperative governance in which the three spheres are distinct yet interrelated, interdependent. This week, as Parliament, through the National Council of Provinces and all provincial legislatures, descended to KZN and engaged with the people of the real challenges that they are facing. We must accept it is that these conversations that took place with ordinary people from local government communities. In our specific example in Uku, it is a space where the will of the people find most expression through the processes of electing office bearers, being the mayor, the speaker, the chief whip, the councillors, and the body called council. And the executive that are given a responsibility to lead and play an active role in changing the conditions of life of our people. a reality where the rubber hits the road, a space where a councillor as a public office bearer cannot hide from ordinary people under the disguise of blue lights, bodyguards, and high electrical fence walls. A space where there are no office hours and yet very little appreciation and reward. A space where those speaking from a privileged position find it convenient to pass the buck, if not pass the blame. A space where public service is a curse, where criminal elements visit us at night, when we are at our most vulnerable period, when we are spending time with families and loved ones, to eliminate or attempt to scare and intimidate us. A space our obituary has been already written for the next funeral. A space where dedicated heroes, people's servants who had dedicated their lives to serving others selflessly, devoted and fearlessly in putting the interest of their people above their own, had their lives cut short. And here I wish to remember, but not only them, Councillor Jimmy Muhlala, Councillor Moses Big Mos Muleleke, Councillor Muzi Manyat, and Councillor Mungobi Mulife, to mention but a few. A space where many of us continue to take the responsibility of public office as reliable and committed leaders despite the curse. President, as the sphere closest to the people, we plead for your intervention ensuring the appropriate application on support by provincial and national government to local government to perform our function and discharge our responsibility and obligations. It is our considered view that not much has been done to diligently give Section 154 support, but instead we observe unprecedented state of inappropriate evocation of Section 139 intervention, some perpetual since 2004, whilst others have not even assisted the capacity since the 2021 elections. And we must applaud the KZN on its endeavor in the recent past of trying to focus on support system in the municipal system, so as other provinces that we have learned in the past to deal with that. President, with this context, where government has for last 22 years introduced numerous interventions to improve the functioning of municipalities with very minimal success, should we not instead consider a comprehensive review to assess the state of local government, championed by the presidency, with a view to ensure that it examines the fiscal architecture, the powers and functions, the accountability and debt service ethos underpin the remodeling of local government system in South Africa. Our considered view is that the challenge facing us to redress poverty, inequality, and underdevelopment cannot be addressed through concerted effort by government alone, and it requires all spheres of government to collaborate and cooperate, including business to take responsibility. Part of that taking responsibility is to develop a system in which councillors, wherever they are doing their work, they are protected. President, it's only 10 months now. Councillors and municipal officials that have been killed until today, as I'm standing here, there are 52. 18 of them, they've been captured and intimidated. And we want to have a process in which there will be a better way of managing. The reality that we are continually chasing is the moving target in changing the conditions of our people. There is no doubt in our minds that the local government experience in South Africa is a complex one, and democratizing local government to represent and service all South Africans has been extremely challenging, further exacerbated by stubborn challenges that continue to bedevil local government process. Many of these were highlighted by communities of KwaZulu-Natal, more in particular in this area. We have noted with keen interest that the focus has largely been on debt owed by municipalities to ESCOM, water boards, and water trading entities. Whilst acknowledging this challenge, our assessment, though, confirms the following factual picture. Whereas municipalities does owe ESCOM amount that it has owed, but the municipalities combined together in South Africa, they are owed 255 billion rand by state, by household, and by business. And therefore, that is why we are saying it is important for us as municipalities to implement our credit control, so as it is important that there's other spheres of government to decide about how best to amend legislation to protect the income level of a municipality. And therefore, we are putting concretely on the table that it is important to revisit Traffic Act or Roads Act so that we deal with the individuals as they go and pay tax, renew the license disc of the vehicles, so that those individuals, if they have not paid the municipal bills, they can be cashed. Tax Act to be amended so that it is important that those that run away from paying municipal services, SARS and other systems can catch them so that municipalities' resources can be paid. Also use the relationship in the cooperation and collaboration manner with the big businesses, banks in the country, to be allowed and work towards contributing in increasing the collectivity of the municipality so that the resource base of the municipality can grow. As I draw to the conclusion, I once again stand before you on behalf of the leadership collective of the organized local government and local government leaders from all our municipalities, and pledge our positive response as we embrace the spirit of citizen activism. Our communities look up on us in periods of need, difficult and complex as it may be. President Mandela once implored us to use our freedom to light the path to a more humane, more caring society. He demanded that we lift our sight far into the horizon, that we use our voices to proclaim our freedom. In turn, our country taught us
As you
courage
conclude,
and resilience,
Honorable
that
Stoffel,
we embrace the challenges that we bring. And therefore, President, as we move towards this and noting the discussion earlier in the morning, let us be reminded by these words by Thomas Sankara. Our revolution is not a public speaking tournament. Our revolution is not a battle of fine phrases. Our revolution is not simply not sporting slogans that are no more than signals used by manipulators trying to use them as a catchwords. Our revolution is and should continue to be the collective efforts to transform reality, to improve the concrete conditions of the masses of our people, and therefore sitting here and members of the public hearing us pulling point of order, that order. What are you teaching us as local government and community at large? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Honorable
Point of
Mika,
order, Chair.
Northwest.
Point of order, Chair.
Well, thanks very much, Honorable Chairperson, to the Deputy Chairperson, His Excellency, the President of South Africa, Honorable Cyril Ramaphosa, to the Premier of the KwaZulu-Natal, the Honorable Speaker also of KwaZulu-Natal, members of the National Council of Provinces, Honorable Premiers from different provinces who are here, my colleagues, Honorable MECs, and maybe not to go far, but acknowledge also all other members present, most importantly, the communities of KwaZulu-Natal. Honorable Chair, it is our belief that it is very much important that in whatever we do as government, we need to be a caring government. We must continue to be a caring and responsive government. So by building an agile state, we will be able to deliver better to our communities. And this is how we become a government which is fit for purpose. In the Northwest Province, like in many other areas across the country, service delivery is a challenge. This is why we believe this topic is very relevant to where we find ourselves. The way we explain an agile is that it is a form of project management designed to deliver product and services. And at the heart of it, Honorable Chairperson, is learning quickly and adapting. By adapting this model, we will ensure that we, on whatever we do as government, we adopt a people-centered approach. For many years, we have been talking about principles such as Batupili, which implies that we put our people first, but this has not been happening in many occasions. Around the world, a growing number of organizations and indeed governments are adopting agility to improve service delivery, increased speed, and enhance customer, employee, and community experience. Indeed, in the time of COVID-19, Honorable Chair, many organizations, including government, had no choice but to accelerate their shift to agile. Recent research found that agile organizations responded faster to the pandemic, while those that do not embrace agile working may well forfeit the benefit of speed and resilience needed in the next normal after COVID-19 pandemic. In essence, agility at an enterprise level means moving strategy, structure, processes, people, and technology towards a new operating model by rebuilding an organization around hundreds of self-steering, high-performing teams supported by a stable backbone. It is therefore also important for our government to adopt continuous learning and improvement as a core principle of agile working, as it also applies to agile culture. Successful agile transformations have shown the value of monitoring progress, evaluating behavioral change in people and its impact on performance, and running regular retrospective to learn from our successes and failures, which might be useful to building agility to the state. However, measuring behavioral change, especially in communities, has traditionally been a challenge. It is therefore important, Honorable Chair, that government embraces agility by using culture-related questions on whether people in communities felt more responsible, whether they could collaborate better, and whether they are more able to learn from others. In parallel, there is a need to use a qualitative method to track the shift towards an agile culture. Updated performance framework and dialogue, for example, can be used to track whether communities are adopting desired behavioral, while a continuous communication will give an ongoing pulse to check of how people were doing and what they are feeling about the rate of delivery in their areas. Culture plays a very important role, Honorable Chair, in a country with so many different cultures, groupings as ours. The value of tracking became a very clear and conscious way which can be used to manage and measure culture progress, establish the correlation between culture and performance, and use cultural data to bring its agile operating model to life. Using these tracking initiatives, Honorable Chair, can help government to produce insight on agile maturity, performance, and culture, thus fostering a sense of belonging, motivation, purpose, and empowerment, which can assist to consistently increase community engagement on issues related to making the state more agile, which will lead to improved service delivery outcomes. This will similarly ensure that several dimensions of the tasks that communities engage in improves as the culture of credibility and clarity takes hold, while greater autonomy, which is the core principle of agile culture, allows communities to take on their own challenges and become more solution-oriented in matters of service delivery. The district development model is a vehicle which is used properly, which, if used properly, can get us closer to achieving agility that helps us build a more capable state, able to deliver better to our communities by including them in plans aimed at improving their lives. The adoption of agile strategies will not only improve service delivery outcomes, but will work to change the entire value chain of government for the better, as this means adopting more private sector oriented models of delivery and also responding to the changing paradigm. To build an agile state capability is to ensure that we build a citizenry that is satisfied with what we deliver as government. This then translates into a state that is capable of, when required, adapting to change, even in instances where there is increased demand on services that are rendered by government. For a state embracing agility may mean being able to respond promptly to the needs of our communities, working towards building a competitive, capable models of service delivery by also attracting the right skills, the adopting the right behavior, which will be supported by the right leadership, which I believe, Honorable Chair, can help in improving service delivery outcome. Thank you very much, Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mika. Honorable Baga. Esondela kubhaga sicela ukuthi umsindo sithi kwehlisa kancane emuva. Please. Honorable Baga.
Masibulele Chairperson. Honorable President, Honorable Chairperson, Honorable Members, Honorable Premiers, MECs, good afternoon. One of the biggest lessons of COVID-19 pandemic is that the public sector capacity to manage a crisis of this proportion is dependent on the cumulative investments that the state has made, especially to strengthen vigorously its proficiencies. For South Africa, institutional weaknesses and governance failures at the municipal and national level have weakened the ability of the state to deliver on its developmental mandate. Confronting challenges requires strengthening institutional capabilities of the state across different spheres of government, especially at the coalface of public service delivery at the local level. As a country, this new chapter places an emphasis on a different type of state, one that is characterized by innovative institutions and that embodies public value and can catalyze new types of growth. Good governance for programs and projects, if applied, requires a defined structure, ways of working, process and systems of operating sufficiently. Transparency and dedication based on merit is paramount to improve the outcomes that the people of South Africa are expecting of their public representatives. Mr. President, in 2018, your government introduced the health promotion levy called the sugar tax by most South Africans. As we read in the newspapers about the business rescue process of Tongaat Hewlett, the closure of sugar mills is a concern, and those concerns are raised. As we went on site visits this week, during taking Parliament to the people, and saw the mill standing dormant, and we heard from the farming community in the public submissions, the impact of the sugar tax has been devastating. Commercial farmers, emerging farmers, and small-scale farmers have all been affected. The Chairperson, we are in a province that has been ravaged by floods to the extent that people are displaced. However, as I'm standing here, there are people still living in community halls. We need to make sure that people's dignity is restored. Families must be assisted urgently to restore their lives, for that is where community life begins. National government must intervene in order for local government to successfully deliver basic services, especially in rural areas. We are, however, welcome the revenue bill approved by Parliament for the floods disaster. As a country, we need to provide service delivery, the ability to scale up in order to adapt quickly to the changing needs and environments across all spheres of government. As we do that, it is important to remove red tape to allow faster services to the people. Agile methodologies can transform how government plans, operates, and delivers its core mandate to the people. We therefore need a good implementation plan that will cater to the needs of the most vulnerable in our society. Good governance programs, or good governance for programs and projects, if applied, requires a defined structure, ways of working, processes and systems to operate sufficiently. The era of COVID-19 has exposed too much inequality and a whole lot of failed planning and poor project management. In the same era, we witnessed gender-based violence escalating at a lightning speed. The recent conference convened by President Cyril Ramaphosa in Midrand is much appreciated, and we hope that it will yield positive results. We all want a country that is safe for women and children to prosper and contribute positively to nation building without fearing for their lives. Chairperson, I would have failed if I don't mention crime as a prohibitor to improving services to the people. It is reported that 10% of rape cases reported nationally stems from higher education institutions. We need to build a state that protects adolescent girls and young women from this pandemic that is ravaging our country. Crime is on the rise, and load shedding is not doing us any favors in this regard. It is therefore quite critical that load shedding is urgently addressed for the development and growth of our country. Our economy is depreciating, and we are struggling with the increasing cost of living with no tangible assistance from this government to assist in the betterment of people's living conditions. Corruption is on a high, perpetuated by those that are meant to better people's lives within the ruling party. Needless to say, the ANC has sold the people of South Africa and the country untruth and every chance given to them. There shall be houses, security, comfort, doors of learning shall be opened, and the list goes on. All nothing but empty promises. We have heard people in this gathering over the past few days crying about basic services. There's a huge outcry about water that is cut for a number of days. People have to get water where most of us here would not dare get or drink it. We live in a country where service delivery is just a dream to some, where ordinary people have given up on ever coming out of poverty because they have witnessed the rich getting richer while the poor are starving to death. An urgent turnaround strategy is needed to address some of these challenges in an attempt to build a better South Africa. And I want to end by saying that to the Premier of KZN, we know what challenges people are confronting after the floods, and we know what is still outstanding. We know what extent a lot of work still has to be done. And to stand here and pretend as if everything is bright, everything is good, is just incorrect. The committee that we serve in, the subcommittee on the floods, will be talking to the president of what is done and what is outstanding. Now, to stand here and grandstand is something that is unacceptable, and honesty is key in these areas. So that work that is—
As you conclude, Honorable Baha.
Thank you, Chair. Work that is needed for assistance in this regard is then sought, and the national government is brought abreast to deal with such issues. I thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is going to Honorable Mkiva.
Mantathe lithuba ndibulise kusihlalo wendlu uba uMasondo umphephethu. Ndibulise umongameli wezwe lakokwethu President Cyril Ramaphosa. Ndibulise amalungu ecabinet, the ministers, the deputy ministers. Ndibulise uPremier weliphondo omtshaqaqa nongumama wokuqala kweliphondo ukuthi abekwe kwisikhundla soba nguPremier. Ndibulise o-MEC bonke bakho Premier. Ndimchage usihlalo we-ANC kweliphondo ubaba uDuma noyileader karhulumente kweliphondo. Ndibulise omeya beholwa ngumeya walapha Ogwini umama uMthiya. Mbonile no speaker walapha ephondweni libulise izidwesha nezidwangube umlisela nomthinjana ugwece lomgqeku oqhina bakamkhonono bathi mayizala inkomo sidle isigqoko. Nginibulisa nonke egameni lombutho wesizwe iANC. Molweni. Kodwa bam abaninzi sebethethe bophela bazityanda igila. Ndizawubeka nje izigxininisi apha naphaya. Uba ngaba niyaqaphela iinkokheli ze-ANC ezithunywe ngabantu ukubana ziye epalamente ziyomela izidingo neemfuno zabantu ziziphatha ngesidima esibonakalayo into okokubana into abayawuyenza epalamente kukulwela into okokubana abantu bakuthi baphume endlaleni. Kukho izibhonti-bhonti ezingalawulekiyo apha phakathi kwethu. Kodwa bathi banomnqweno into okokubana ngenye imini bangaze balawule. Ilizwe lethu lingayintoni ukuphathwa ngabantu abazimdlavini intswelaboya ezibonakala elubala into yobana ziziphethe kakubi. Umzekelo endifuna umxelela wona.
Honorable Nkiba, just a bit. On what point are you rising, member?
Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Awuzwakali.
Chairperson.
On what point are you rising?
No, ndiyabulela kakhulu sihlalo. No, we understand that Honorable Mkiva went to the NCOP through singing poems. He's even now singing for SAPA. That's what he does. So he must not try to grandstand using EFF here. He must sing the poems. Otherwise, you won't be able to finish.
Thank you very much. Honorable Giver, did you say what they say we have said?
Ababantu bazokwenza isigezo apha namhlanje abayi naseparlament.
On a point of order, Chair.
Ithuba xa kuthiwa kuzwa kwemisitho enje.
On a point of order, Chair. On a point of order, Chair.
Bazawubonakalisa into yobana.
On a point of order, Chair. On a point of order.
Yeah, no. Singayilungisi kanje lento.
Point of order, Chair.
Ukuthi because the question is very clear. Ingabe lento abathi uyishilo Mkiva mangazange uyisho sizabheka kuHansard. Mreng.
Let me put it in English so that they can get me exactly. Some of these members, they don't even attend committee meetings and the sitting of parliament.
On a point of order, Chair.
Point of order.
On a point of order, Chair. What is the order? Point of order, Chair. On a point of order.
What's the point of order?
Can the member please sit down? Thank you.
What's the point of order?
Chairperson, imember la ingezi uzograndstanda ngazi. Izoba yimbongi. Uma uthi ufuna ukuba yimbongi, akahamba yofuna umsebenzi wokuba yimbongi. Angafuni uzograndstanda ngazi. Angasithathi kanjani. Usiqhala kakubi.
Unfortunately, unfortunately, that's not the point of order. But again, consult. Please proceed.
Point of order. Point of order.
On a point of order. On a point of order, Chairperson.
Honorable Matebula, just a minute. Honorable Giver.
On a point of order.
Yeah. Yes.
Not as the House Chair.
On what point are you rising, Honorable Matebula?
On a point of order, Chair. Chairperson.
Order, honorable members, order.
Chairperson. Chairperson,
Bathini, yebo.
na swi navela ku twa leswi Honorable Mkiva va swi vulaka, mara na problem ya ku Xitsonga a xi kona la. So swi nga endleka va va ri ku rhuketeleni, kumbe swi nga endleka va karhi va vulavula swilo swa kahle, mara translation ya Xitsonga a yi kona. Can you please assist on that, Chairperson?
Yeah. Honorable members, I guess what we should do, because temperatures have risen a bit, so we need to lower them. So we will look at this matter that is being raised. And at the next sitting, we will let you know. So Honorable Giver, let's please proceed.
Chairperson, can I be recognized, please? Chairperson, can you please recognize me?
Yeah. Honorable member, what's your point of order? On what point are you rising?
Chairperson, I just wanted to remind the member that the debate is about building agile state capabilities. He must not come and sing for his supper.
No. Please sit down, Honorable member. Please sit down. Please proceed on the
point of order, Chair.
Point of order, Chair. Amalungu eParlamente.
Point of order, Chair.
Kufanele into kokubana abonakale njengamathandana ngaphambili ekhokhela izinto zabantu ejonga izidingo zabantu.
Honorable Mkiva.
Chair,
point of order. Honorable Msamai, on what point are you rising?
Sit down.
Honorable Msamai, on what point are you rising first? Before you speak.
The right of my speech.
I've
got the right to speak. Chairperson, can you give the Honorable Mkiva? Ask her to Batamaemo Mokaro.
I can't hear you.
Ask her to debate.
Okay, that's not the point of order. Please sit down. Give an hour to the Pambiland.
Kanizole. Ifuna mhlali ngaphambili ndiyicacise into kokubana kweli lizwe sonyulwe uba uCyril Ramaphosa uba abe ngumongameli wabantu bonke beli lizwe. Wonke umuntu ukuqala apha kula malungu eParlamente onke likhokhelwa nguba uCyril Ramaphosa uthanda ningathandi.
Asoba ngawe apha. Chairperson. Order. I'm rising on a point of order, Chairperson.
Chairperson. Honorable members.
I'm rising on a point of order.
Honorable members.
Don't generalize. I'm rising on a point of order.
Honorable members, we have a responsibility to debate and raise whatever points in a manner that does not depart from the standing of the House and this whole thing of raising points of orders under the pretext of debate and so on will not really assist us. So I'm appealing to all of us. Let's please try and behave in a manner that is in keeping with the dignity of the House. Thank you very much. Mkiva.
Chairperson, ivumele sihlalo okokubana ndicacise into apha yokokubana ingxaki esinazo kweli lizwe zabangelwa ngondlebe zikanyilana. Abafika sizicelele ngoxolo elizweni loba womkhulu awuthatha umhlaba wethu ngolunye. Ngoku sineminyaka ingama-28 sikhulekile. Umbutho we-ANC unyathela kakuhle umcimbi ozawubuyisa lo mhlaba. Kwaye umhlaba wethu singabantu beli lizwe uzawubuyela kubaniniwe.
On a point of order, Chair.
On a point of order.
Chairperson, there's a school
Please
in the
proceed,
Eastern
Honorable
Cape.
Mkiva.
There's a school in the Eastern Cape which is still waiting for sanitizers.
I've not allowed
They
you
were
to speak.
given water.
That's not a point of
They
order.
were given water
I've
instead
not
of
allowed you
sanitizers.
to speak.
But a member comes here and
Please
wants to
proceed,
speak
Honorable Mkiva.
as if he's an honorable member.
Please proceed.
Whilst he knows what he
Chair,
can
you
to
cannot allow
differentiate.
one party to
You
rule
must take us serious, man. Take us serious. We can't listen to corrupt people here.
The ANC took a decisive decision in its 54th conference in 2017 on the question of land. And we want to assure the South Africans that the restoration of land to its original owners is going to happen. But we are going to do that in a manner that is responsible, in a manner that is within the confines of our constitution. We do not have a doubt in our mind that the land must be restored. The ANC government has already taken a clear decision in this respect, particularly umhlaba wasemakhaya siyavana into kokubana mawuye kwi-traditional authorities zisebenzisana nabantu obantu abangomama nolutsha lezwe lakokwethu ukuqinisekisa into kokubana abantu bakuthi bayakwazi ukuxhamla kwizinto ezifakwa ngurhulumente ekuqinisekiseni into kokubana ubomi babo siyabutshintsha. Yi-ANC kuphela ezakwazi ukuwenza lo msebenzi kweli lizwe.
Chairperson, on a point of order. We're not in a branch meeting of the ANC.
Chairperson, ndivumele ndilume kulwimi lasilungu. The impact statement of the Department of Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development is for an effective land reform program that ensures food security, inclusive growth, and spatial transformation. Besendichilo into kokubana ingxaki ezininzi esinazo kweli lizwe zabangelwa ngamadlagushi afika ayigxobhagxobha inhlalo yethu singama-Afrika kweli lizwe. Seyatshilo omnye ugxa wami into kokubana ayinothatha iminyaka engama-28 kuphela ukulungisa ingxingxongo yengxaki esafakwa kuyo apha ngoondlebe zikanyilanga. Kodwa ndiyafuna ukunixelela into kokubana omnye wabo apha uze ngaphambili ezothi kwiphondo lakhe lase-Western Cape benza le nale naleya. Ndifuna ukunixelela malungu ale palamente ebalulekileyo nabantu bakokwethu into kokubana xa uya kwelaa phondo laseMpuma Kapa, eNtshona Kapa, uzawufika ingawona amatyotyombe namabobosi amaninzi ukogqitha onke amaphondo aseMzantsi Afrika. Abantu bakuthi kurhulumente wabo i-Democratic Alliance abaphetheyo pha into abayenzayo balungiselela abantu abamhlophe kuphela nendawo ezihlala abantu abamhlophe kuphela. Abantu bakuthi bahlele bugwayibeni phaya eWestern Cape. In order to ensure that our economy is put on a growth and development trajectory, in 2020, Parliament convened a joint sitting of the Houses to receive from the President of the Republic, President Cyril Ramaphosa, government's plan on economic restructuring and recovery plan. In order for the government to meet the socio-economic needs of our people, the state needs to play a decisive intervention role in the economy and help create an environment conducive to growth of our economy and in coordinating both private and public capitals towards eradicating the triple challenges of poverty, unemployment, and inequality. The 54th National Conference of the ANC noted that there has been a slow progress in building a developmental state that has the capacity and capability to mobilize society and direct resources towards developmental goals. The capacity of the state in this regard is recognized in terms of its macroeconomic orientation and ability to direct the behavior of our domestic economy. Umzekelo ocacileyo, abelungu zange benze nento ebonakalayo ezilalini emakhaya. Kodwa lo rhulumente uthe songena waqinisekisa into okokubana okokuqala wonke ummi waseMzantsi Afrika ufumane umbane. Ewe siyavuma into yokubana sinazo ingxaki ku-Eskom ngalo mzuzu, kodwa isikhokelo sikamongameli uRamaphosa nekhabhinethi yakhe bayalwisana nale ngxaki kwaye sayisombulula le ngxaki. Asizange saxakwa kusombulula ngxaki siyi-ANC. Okwesibini, urhulumente wethu uthe waseka isebe elijongene ne-rural development elizawuqinisekisa into yokubana sijolisa amehlo, sincedisane nabantu basemakhaya bazibone nabo bengabemi abalinganayo nabasezidolophini kweli lizwe. Umsebenzi omninzi sesiwenzile kwiilali ezininzi zalapha eMzantsi Afrika, zimbi zenzelwe imigaqo, amanzi siwafakile ezilalini. Kuyabonakala umuntu obonayo ngamehlo nofuna ubona ngamehlo uyawubona umsebenzi osebenzile. Honorable Chairperson, we define the developmental state as a state that is able to provide effective basic services with capabilities to take forward far-reaching agenda of the national economic development, whilst at the same time placing people and their involvement at the center of these processes. It is through a developmental state that we can best achieve the objectives and the goals of the economic recovery plan. The economic reconstruction and recovery plan is anchored around two main pillars. The first is the new policy framework to mobilize society around infrastructure-led recovery with investment in key strategic sectors such as agriculture and mining. And the second pillar is premised around the policy framework that will promote investment in agriculture as well as in rural areas in general. Most importantly, the ERRP will help overcome the challenges faced by a drive towards building a developmental state in relation to coordination of government work and the programs across all spheres. Through the district development model, this coordination of government programs will enhance intergovernmental relations. The ERRP identified the importance of the agricultural sector in creating much needed job opportunities, as it is a labor intensive and the ability to employ unskilled, semi-skilled and skilled labor, especially within the agro-processing and related supply value chain industries. Ndifuna ukwenza umzekelo uMongameli, njengokubana silapha ogwini, siye saphuma singamalungu eParlamente sathi bhazalala kwindawo ngendawo, nemimango nengemimango. Ndibe nethamsanqa ngale nto yobana ndiyofika kuWard 14 apha kuMdeni local municipality. Ndafika kukho abantu abangomama abaziqalele ifactory yokwenza izinto zokuthambisa nensipho yohlamba nezinye izinto. Zonke ezo zinto baziqala ekulimeni izityalo, bathi besawugqiba ukuzityala ngethuba lokuzivuna bazivune, bapheke kuphume insipho nento zokuthambisa. Lo factory namhlanje iqashe abasebenzi abalishumi kwaye izinto abazivelisayo ziyangena kumashishini orhweba elilizwe afana noSpar, oShoprite, noBoxer, kwaye ngaphezu koko ii-orders zabo ziphuma kumazwe asentshona Europe namazwe ase-Asia. Inye into ekufuneka siyenze kwimisebenzi yolwala hlobo kubana urhulumente wethu afake isandla ukwenzela uba la msebenzi wande, ukwenzela uba sizokwazi into yobana siqashe abantu abaninzi abangomama nolutsha nabantu abaswele ingqesho elizweni lakokwethu. Government argues that women, youth, and people living with disabilities must play a leading role in the delivery of infrastructure building programs necessary to catalyze our economic recovery. To this end, government has identified some of the long-standing impediments of our economic growth, and these include unreliable electricity supply, costly and inefficient ports and rail work, crime and corruption. It is the ANC that is leading the fight against crime and corruption. And we've demonstrated that in so many ways, and our president is leading from the front.
As you conclude, Honorable Mkiva.
The allocation of budget infrastructure development must ensure that there is a realization of focused intervention to promote sectors of the economy which will stimulate industrialization. It is only through investing kubantu bakuthi ngokuthi bazivezele amaziko neenkomponi zabo zokuvelisa izinto ukwenzela into yobana singasoloko sijonge into yobana sawuqashwa. Kufuneka sivuke sizenzele siphefumlelane norhulumente namaziko karhulumente afake imali alandelele izinto enizimelayo. Asingobantu abamele into kokubana silindele ukakazwa ngurhulumente. Koko uthi urhulumente kaRamaphosa vuka uzenzele siza kuncedisa. Xa ndizawugqibezela mhlali ngaphambili omnye wabuzile apha wazothi they are confused. What is confusing them is the fact
Please
that they
conclude, honorable member.
What is
Conclude.
confusing them is the fact that they stay in ivory towers. And there are examples that they come and make here. They are so detached from the reality of our people who live in squalor and limbo. We want to tell you that you cannot compare apples to pineapples. The fact of the matter is that it is only the ANC government that is ensuring the inclusive participation of our people in our economy. And that is going to happen in our lifetime. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mkiva.
Chairperson.
I'm told that Honorable De Brain is now supposed to come through. It's virtual. Let's try and give space before the president responds.
Chairperson.
Honorable De Brain, yeah.
Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable.
Before you conclude, Chair, I just wanted.
Not
Yes, Chair. It's an order, Chair, on the Presidium, Chair. That I'm following that there is a member, Memukausi, has called the president a criminal here. And we're told that we're going to check the Hansard, Chair. I just wanted to say, Chair, that I think because there's never been a ruling here. I'm pleading with you, Chair, to rule before we leave here so that before we leave here, no one leaves with a cloud hanging because of things that we know that are not true. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
No, we will deal with this issue in an appropriate manner. We'll come back to the council and report back on how the matter is being dealt with. Let's leave it on that note. Honorable De Brain.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Am I audible?
Chairperson.
The brain is not on the platform, so we'll proceed. Honorable President.
Honorable Chair, I am on the platform. Am I audible?
Let's hear your response and closing remarks.
Honorable Chair, I am on the platform. Honorable Chair.
Order, Chair. I'm rising on a point of order, Chairperson.
I don't really understand because the president has hardly spoken. Now you want to raise a point of order.
You will understand. Give me a chance to rise on a point of order.
What's the point of order?
Chairperson, the reality is that majority of you here in this house feels aggrieved. There are spoken here in this house about Palapala.
No.
We are still repeating it.
It's not a point of order.
That is not a point of order.
Stand up. She has a person like that.
The president will proceed here.
No point of order.
Honorable President, please proceed. Sit down, honorable member, sit down.
The president who's got an authority to
I'm now honorable member, I'm now I'm now ordering you out of the house.
Without consequence.
Out of the house. Out.
Out. To him.
Out. Out. Please leave. Please leave. Out. Now, thank you very much. We will now proceed. Honorable President.
Honorable Chairperson of the NCOP and Honorable Deputy Chairperson of the NCOP, our premiers who are here present, ministers and deputy ministers, honorable members of the National Council of Provinces, the President of SALGA.
Honorable members, if you can just be quiet a bit and keep the disturbances to a minimum. Please proceed, President.
Thank you. MECs and mayors and councillors here present, the chairperson of the ANC in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, Mr. Spodiso Duma, representatives
Order, members, please sit down. Let's please settle down. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Representatives of political parties, traditional and religious and community leaders, and ladies and gentlemen. Ngithanda ukubonga kakhulu ukuthi sithole leli thuba lokuthi sizwe abantu abethu kuleli viki lonke beveza izimvo zabo, and also thank everyone for this most informative and enriching and constructive debate. Today's proceedings have been about putting our people first. Many of the issues that have been raised over the last few days affect the lives of our people in our communities and in our municipalities, but also around the country. The provincial governments have had an opportunity, together with our national government departments, to outline the measures that they are taking to address the challenges that our people are facing. As you sat close to me, Honorable Chairperson, you described in some detail how the engagements with our people have ensued as national ministers and deputy ministers explained in a great deal of detail some of the measures that are being taken to address the challenges that our people are facing. And you also explained how the challenges such as housing, such as water,
and many others, as well as local government challenges, were fully outlined in terms of the solutions that our government is and has embarked upon. This debate has also been enriched by the participation of our leaders at provincial level. MEC Shongwe gave a very extensive historical account of the origins of our challenges. He correctly pointed out that we are having to deal with the legacies of colonialism and apartheid that were in the making for 342 years. We have made great progress, he said, in the 28 years that the ANC government has been in office. We often forget, as the people of this country, that for 342 years, this country was being misruled, extensively, the people extensively exploited for all those 342 years by colonizers, as well as under apartheid misrule. And of course, our people are impatient. We want to see this country completely changed, and all our problems and challenges that had their foundation over 342 years being resolved overnight. But MEC Shongwe gave a very educated outline and account of where we have come from. And he said we ought to know where we come from as we proceed forward where we want to go to. And I thank him for that. Thank you very much, MEC Shongwe. Premier Ntombela, with great passion, urged us never to give up, despite the challenges that we are facing. She said, never, never, never give up. Because we are not a people who give up. We are a people who engage in struggle and face our challenges head on. And as she demonstrated how in the Free State, they are addressing their challenges. And of course, she has great reason to be proud of the great achievements the Free State has made in education, where the Free State has come out number one in 4 years. And obviously, also challenging other provinces like Gauteng, which has often been number 2, to a point where Premier Lusufi responded and said, you watch out, we will also be number 1, and suggesting that they may be number 1 next year when the matric results come out. But with great passion, Premier Ntombela, who never gives up, for as long as I've known her, she's always been positive, optimistic, energetic, and always raring to go, despite having faced challenges also in Jagersfontein, challenges also in the municipalities in the Free State, but she remains positive. And that is the spirit that we should all have as South Africans, despite the challenges that we face. And thank you very much, Mantombela, Kialeboha, Nyabonga, Uguti, you remain positive. And of course, progress has been made across the board. And our Premier here in KZN outlined extensively the progress that they've been making, and I'll refer to it in a little while. MEC Mani Lusiti spoke extensively about the need for cooperation with the private sector, but she also said something quite profound, that our mayors must be champions of economic development. I've often said that economic development in our country must start right from the bottom upwards. Our towns and cities must not be expecting that economic development will be showered from the top. It has to rise from the bottom. It is our towns and cities and our municipalities that must be the bedrock of our economic development. They are the ones who must create that conducive environment at the town, at the city, at the metro level that will attract investors to come and invest. And unless that happens, economic development, growth, and job creation will not easily happen. I often cite the case of China. China is the economic behemoth that it is, the second largest economy in the world, and their objective is to be the largest economy. But that economic growth started at the bottom. It started in their towns. It took the mayors, councillors, to ensure that they create that climate and they promote investment. And they started up setting up investment promotion offices and areas in their towns. They are the ones who started mobilizing investment. And they are the ones who attracted investment in their towns. And of course, with the help of provincial government, their states, as well as national government, the three spheres of government then started working together. So MEC Mani Lusiti is absolutely correct. It is that cooperation that we must have with the private sector right at the local level, but also our mayors, yes, our speakers, yes, our chief whips, and our councillors must be the economic ambassadors of the areas where our people live. If we do not do that, we will not be able to achieve the economic growth that we want. And as I said in my main input, investments do not happen at the union buildings or in Parliament in Cape Town. They happen right at the lowest level. So that is what we need to focus on. Umamu PP spoke also extensively about the issue of economic emancipation. And I know she feels very strongly about this, as we should all. Economic emancipation of those who were relegated to the back of economic development in our country, economic emancipation of the women and empowerment of our country. She spoke about the district development model, that this is what we should use to develop the economy of our country, the economy of our regions, economy of our municipalities. That is what is needed. And if we can embrace the message that she was putting across, we will be able, without fail, to see real economic emancipation of the Black people of South Africa. That is where we will be headed. Premier Lesufi, I was rather pleased to hear him outline the plans that they have in Gauteng and the steps that they are taking. And many of our provinces have similar plans. But he put real money behind some of the initiatives that they're taking. real money to empower our township businesses. They passed the Township Development Act. And with that, they are now armed with real action that can be taken. And putting 650 million rand behind this type of economic empowerment initiative is very powerful. It is new, it is fresh, and it does feel like Gauteng indeed, in terms of the economic plan that they have. And yes, Gauteng has gone out, and KZN has also gone out, Eastern Cape has also gone out, and indeed a number of our provinces to attract investors. What they have been doing in developing their economic zone and attracting a company like Ford to come and invest billions of rands and working with them to create that conducive environment where today we are now going to manufacture 750 vehicles a day. And through that, of course, Eastern Cape does that, KZN does that. We will be competing with countries like Germany, like Japan, like Korea, in terms of making vehicles that will be exported. And the market that Gauteng and of course other provinces are targeting is the market on our continent. Through the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, we will be able to sell our vehicles, the products we make, into the rest of the continent. So where we are at the southern tip of our continent, many countries see us as the entry, the gate into the continent. And that is why investors, yes, are coming to South Africa and investing so that we can all capture the African market. Africa is opening up. We are saying it should no longer open up just for Europe and places like that. It should open up for Africa as a whole. Countries in our continent must make things that will be sold and consumed in Africa so that we no longer have to run to Europe to go and import stuff. Africans must be buying things, vehicles, and products that are made here. And this is also going to benefit our mining industry because the beneficiation that will take place here in terms of making vehicles, the various minerals that go into making those vehicles are here. And soon we are now going to be moving towards making electric vehicles, electric cars that are going to be needed in Europe, in America, and many other places must be made here in South Africa. And I'm glad that our provinces are gearing up for making those vehicles. A few years ago, I spoke about building smart cities. Many took time to laugh at this dream that I spoke about. I'm glad that Premier Lusufi has caught on to this dream. And now we are going to have a smart city in Gauteng, but we are also going to have a smart city here in KZN combined with the Eastern Cape, right here. So many things are going to start happening, and I'm rather pleased that our premiers have taken time, including our MECs, to outline precisely the economic progress that we are making and the economic progress that we are going to continue making. Ndade Mohai, I want to thank him for speaking more about the need to have public servants who are going to put our people first. And he also spoke about celebrating some of the progress that we have made in SEZ, and he spoke quite logically about the developmental state. And he said that we are a developmental state, and what we need to do is to focus more on issues of development. And we are a different type of developmental state because we are inherently a democratic state, which seeks to include and involve as many people as possible, various formations that must play a key role in building this South African developmental state. And with that, we will be able to improve the lives of our people. MEC Sikwati spoke about the need for infrastructure development, and I could not agree with him more. But he speaks about it from a different or an interesting angle, that it must be targeted and integrated. It must be based on planning, and we must develop a clear district development practice, which they have done in Limpopo, and which all the districts in Limpopo have embraced, where they now have one plan for each of the districts focused on developing infrastructure, water, and so forth. Babu Hateb from the IFP, ngiyabonga kakhulu ukuthi uzinike isikhathi ukukhuluma ngeyinkinga zabantu bakithi. Ngiyakubonga kakhulu waze wayokhuluma ngeyinkinga zabantu bakithi uma baya emahhovisi afana noSASSA neseyibhedlela ukuthi balinda isikhathi eside. Ngiyakubonga lokho ngoba angukuthathi as a criticism. I take that as very good suggestions ukuthi le inkinga singazixazulula kanjani na. Ngiyakubonga kakhulu ukuthi you have been forthright in putting these views across. Premier wethu uNomusa Dube Ncube, ngibonga kakhulu ukuthi you took your time in explaining more in full the challenges that we have faced with the floods and the initiatives that we are taking, and you gave us an update, the progress that we are making in terms of accommodating our people who initially, as the floods happened, were accommodated in halls. Some of them are being moved out, and they are being moved into decent accommodation to give them dignity, to make sure ukuthi they will lead a better life as they move on. And thank you also for giving us a progress report on the work that we're doing in repairing the roads, the bridges, the schools, and also in rebuilding the houses that were destroyed in the floods. Other people may not really appreciate the progress. The floods that we experienced in the Eastern Cape and in KZN and in parts of Northwest were quite devastating floods. And Umama, Sylvia Lucas, she's absolutely right in saying we must also focus on climate change, because what we have seen on the eastern side of our country, affecting especially KZN and in Eastern Cape, could be occurrences that happen all the time, like Mozambique, without wishing them ill, or they will happen on other countries on the eastern side. They are now here. And yes, we need to get ready for disasters that are going to befall us on an ongoing basis. We have learned a lot from these floods, and that is why I appreciated the report from our Premier here about the progress that we have made. These floods have highlighted how important local government is in preparing and responding to natural disaster. And that is why it has been important for us to come here so that we can talk to the people who are most affected by these floods. And that is why it has been so good to hear also Ubaba Mkiva. Ubaba Mkiva spoke about the progress that we've been making over many years. And I thank him for that, because the progress has been extensive. Baba Ustofile Wesalga has given us insights on what we should be doing going into the future. The fiscal architecture that Salga would like us to start looking at, to remodel, yes, even local government, so that we can avoid some of the challenges and the problems that we are having. So he's planted a seed and we need to look at it quite extensively. Salga is our organization that focuses on our local government, and they have a lot of ideas. I also particularly like the ideas that they put forward with regard to helping our local governments to pay their debts, to collect money, and how we can get companies to cooperate and also to play a role. MEC Meha liked her input in terms of focusing on service delivery. And Honorable Barra spoke about the gender-based violence and also applauded the summit that we held. And I think it's been important for us to make progress on gender-based violence. What I did appreciate when we were at the summit is the fact that our provinces held their own summits. They made a great deal of progress in bringing many formations together and focus